So today at approximately 1 p.m., the Anti-Crime Task Force, which is a unit that is tasked with addressing vehicles in motion that are involved in violent crimes or stolen. At that point, they spotted a stolen Mazda in the Baden neighborhood. It was occupied by two males. It had stolen plates on the vehicle that were not on the vehicle when the vehicle was stolen. At that point, they followed it where it entered the Penrose neighborhood, picked up another occupant who entered the rear seat, and at that point, when they left that location, Anti-Crime spiked the vehicle. They spiked the vehicle before they attempted to stop it, because our tactical pursuit policy is to try to spike it, to slow it down prior to attempting to stop it, so that it ensures public safety. At that point, Anti-Crime followed it here into the 4200 block of St. Louis Avenue, where they abandoned two people abandoned the vehicle. Driver and front seat passenger ran, both armed with handguns. Driver ran through a vacant lot into the rear yard of the 4200 block of St. Louis Avenue, where he turned and displayed his handgun and was shot by the officer in pursuit. The passenger ran with his handgun in another direction. He fell. His handgun was still in his hand when he was taken into custody. They are both juvenile males. The juvenile male that was shot was pronounced deceased at the scene.
Oh, no.
So we have a 40-year-old police officer with 16 years of service who was involved in the discharging of the firearm. Do we have all the juveniles have been confirmed? They're all from North County.
Did you recover a firearm from the deceased victim as well?
Yes, there was a firearm recovered from him along with suspected narcotics.
Any idea how many shots were fired?
That will be part of our investigation.
Body cams rolling at the time?
Anti-Crime Task Force is equipped with body cameras, and that will be reviewed as part of our investigation.
What part of the body?
That will be part of our investigation.
Can you speak to what kind of firearm was recovered?
Handguns. That's all I'm going to give right now.
When was his car reported stolen?
It was reported stolen from my understanding from the county, and it had been hitting on LPR cameras several times this week.
How far did the car drive after it was spike stripped? Did it get very far?
From the Penrose neighborhood, just on the other side of Natural Bridge to here. So not very far.
Why is that the first choice to spike strip it before, I guess, beginning pursuit, activating lights, what have you?
Spiking a car before you activate your lights and siren actually slows down the ability from them to become involved in a high-speed fleeing and endangering other individuals who are obeying traffic laws. So we tried to spike them in an attempt to disable the vehicle so that it cannot drive at high speeds.
What happened to the third person that was in the car? You said two people got out and ran. What happened to
Third
the
person was stayed in the rear seat and complied with the police.
And what is their age, and are they
Also a juvenile, and that's all the information we're giving out right now. That was a non-armed, cooperative juvenile in the rear seat.
What are we talking about for charges for those juveniles? Are there...
Right now, I would need to get more into the investigation before we get to that. So unless there's something else important, I'm going to move on to the second one.
How many of the cars that we're pursuing are really all unmarked or marked?
Anti-Crime Task Force is an unmarked unit who does covert surveillance in an attempt to spike it prior to them knowing the police are there in an attempt to slow them down.
Are cars also equipped with cameras?
Not Anti-Crime Task Force, no. They are equipped with body cameras.
To be clear, the driver ran and then turned around, pointed the gun at officers.
Yes.
Did they fire any shots to the suspects?
That's all part of our